Okay. It is now recording. I'm not finished with this page yet, this page 12, but it gave me the thought that I'm almost at the end. So what I thought I would do is, by the way, this is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I had planned on going to 16, may go beyond 16. I thought I would do is set up the next page just with some roughs. Because I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with it yet, and I might have to try a couple of different things before I get this where it's going. I mean, we basically know what's going on. There's going to be a big battle, right? You can see that you didn't count on Hondo. Hondo pops up as this sort of giant 10-meter tall creature. So I got to figure out, how do we make that work as a battle? But one of the first things got to happen, I think Hondo starts by just trying to step on him or something. Or no, he hits him with his tail. Maybe like a swoop with his tail. So how about that? So what? Like that. Right there. And we see the motion lines. My problem is I don't know the anatomy of this creature that well yet. I mean, I guess it kind of is like that. What do you mean accessory not supported? Yes, you are. Okay. And this arm will be back. And it could be I've made the figure already a bit too big and I've centered it, which is probably also not a great choice here. But, it's a rough. We're going to rough it out. Swipe. And just kind of like it knocks this guy backwards. We've got to do this foreshortened. Flying backwards. And then Stardust will be regretting life here in a second. Right, now if his tail is there, then the foot has to be there, right? The foot is in front of the tail, or the tail is in front of the foot. I'm trying to look at this figure. So when you're looking at a digitigrade leg like this, it's something like this, right? Except you gotta, and then you gotta sort of account for this tail sweeping around. Which I haven't done a great job with. Next up, this guy, not big enough. He should be distorted. Maybe even something like that. This, I'm usually against breaking out of the panel borders. We could break him out of the panel borders here because he's getting hit so hard. He's getting knocked completely out of the comic. Like that's to me a legitimate use of breaking the panel border. And it works better when you don't do it on every page and you don't do it for no reason at all. You only do it when it's warranted, when it's something that makes sense. I'm gonna look at the other figure though. Hello. He's vaguely a humanoid thing. He just got this big thick tail. And actually, I'm looking at it right now. Let me throw this down. Hang on. Recent. Something like that. Whack. So what I have here is probably wrong because he's vaguely humanoid. Like that's the thing with this monster. I've actually made it easier on myself than I thought. If we extrapolate it down, we have a pelvis and we have. Oops! Hey, come back! Come back! We have a pelvis and kind of predictable legs. That's the tail. And we could have the tail slap come from behind like this even. I don't know. I'm looking at it. We could have him twisting around too. That's another possibility. So we see the feet come up. Man, I'm just gonna have to look up some reference for a tail slap, maybe a Godzilla tail slap or something like that. There's probably something somebody's worked out. But for now, I think let's leave the tail slap out of it. We'll work it out. And the trouble here, I'm looking at this. Could be this arm is the problem. Probably some anime thing I could look at that would show me how to do this. All right. And what I also have at my disposal is the ability to shrink it down and make it a little bit more manageable. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe what I should be doing is taking it out of panel, making it just so big it's, you know. If I do something like that. Thwack. But I need to be real clear about, where the foreground is. And one way you can do that is you can go extreme in the foreground. That might be the way to go. And if I do that, I can make him smaller, even though he's way bigger. Like he's hitting him so hard, he goes flying. Like we'll have the other guys down small, down below, down here. That actually kind of looks like it works. And then there's like, where's the slap? Right here. Something like that. No, I'm definitely gonna have to like tighten up on whatever this is. And the other guys are getting to their feet. And then in the next panel, we should see. We might split this, or we might just do this in big long panels. But let's go ahead and split it for right now. And maybe he's. Shoo. Showing a full figure here is a bold idea. Well, we got it. What we have to do here, what we have to accomplish, I think, on these two panels, is we have to show that they're okay now, that they're not being trapped by the electrostasis trap that we'd set up previously. So we'll show, Prometheus even flying. So I think we need to show both. Actually, we could even have Hondo looking up. And he's hurt, but he's not out of it. And maybe he even asks, like, who is that? Like, he doesn't know. But Prometheus knows, and he'll kind of explain, yeah, that's my uncle. He's a totally bad guy, and he will kill you. So the next one's got to be like a close-up. And then let's show what happens to Stardust at this point. Maybe he crashes into some trees or something. Um, Looking at how to do this. Let's maybe crash this like upside down even. Some rocks and trees or something out here. Could this be accomplished in a smaller panel? That's a good question. I have a feeling it could. All right, let's just throw that in a smaller panel. And we're going to go back to the 6-panel grid. Modified 6-panel grid. Maybe, and okay, so he has some dialogue where he's explaining that he might even suggest, hey, if you have a way of getting out of here, you should do that. And I think Abrax will say something like, I don't think I can do that without Hondo, and he's not in a good mood right now. So we need to show Stardust getting up, and he's mad. And he's got stuff, like mud on his head. He's just dripping with debris. He's really pissed. And he's like, oh, that's it. And then the dialogue up here will say something like, I think we might have just made him mad. Something like that. All right, so this is something to start with. For the next page, but let's go back. We'll go ahead and and this might not be the final face. Like we might actually take this and do the real big head way up here. In fact, it's a pretty good possibility that we might have to do something like that. Maybe put it right here. Often I'm looking at, how do we align to grid? And by when I mean snap to grid, what I mean here is, if you saw the recent Sideburns video, what I'm talking about here is my rule of 3 grid here. All right, and then on the next page we'll have both Hondo and Prometheus zooming towards him, and Ibrax using some of his other powers we haven't seen yet. He's a summoner, not just a summoner of Hondo. That's just as familiar, his best friend. But I think we could probably show some other cool powers. Like maybe he summons a wild boar. Or, maybe something that doesn't do direct combat, but maybe it's something like a flock of birds or something that throws him off. We got to figure out how to do that. Okay, and this is the back leg, so we've got to establish that kind of right there. All right, so we can tighten this up. This is going to take some time to just really kind of fill in, and we're going to iterate. We're obviously going to be doing some more dialogue and stuff in here. Let's go back. I'm only on 20 minutes. I've got 10 minutes to do stuff. All right, here we go. We can even put some dialogue here. to show that Stardust wasn't expecting that to happen. All right, these guys are relieved now because they're not caught in the trap anymore. Should I make him? I don't want to give him a thick neck. I want to give him a thin neck. He's a pencil neck geek, this guy. All right, here we go. And we also got to keep in mind these particular images right here. These figures are going to be tiny, so we don't want to do too much detail. We need it enough to be like it's clear. But not overpowering detail. Because we'll never see it. You know, this is the print size. So I think that's reading okay right there. His hands are not coming out good though. All right. I'm also in inking class, and I can show you a little bit of my progress on that just while we're doing this. This is a Dark Phoenix that I've been inking. You can see I'm not finished with it. I don't know. This is a John Byrne drawing, and I'm inking it with I have nib pen. Here it is, and also doing the. I'm not doing the fills with nib pen, obviously. I have a different thing for that. And I did use some brush on it, and then I ran into some problems with the brush, and so I've backed off of the brush a bit. I don't have a high quality brush, too. It's part of my problem. Although it's a poor artist who blames his tools. Yes, I've heard that before, too. But it's hard to keep a point on it. So I thought what I might do is I'm using the brush in places where there are, because it's like, you know, if you've ever seen Dark Phoenix back in the Bronze Age, back when Byrne was really doing it, she has this kind of liquid costume, like a liquid metal almost. And so one of the inking techniques for that is kind of this inky squiggle. And the brush is really good for that. So that's where I'm kind of focusing my brush work. Okay. There's no way in hell that should be aligned. Okay, let's drop the pencils for just a moment. It's taking on an Archie's quality. But to me, it kind of goes to show that you don't need to over-render everything. You know, as much as we love muscle men, right? We don't have to make every comic character a muscle man. This is a heel. Okay, boom. Although Stardust is. I think he should have some kind of line of dialogue that's like surprised. Like, hey, what? Bim shallow what? Because Abrax says bim shallow bim. Oh, it just occurred to me that there might be a cool way to end this battle. So how do we end this battle? That's the tough part. Um, Stardust can't die, and Stardust is intent on killing. How do we end the battle? We have to have some way for the good guys to persevere, I would think. Um, not high at all. Faking that ear in there. Might even give Abrax a line. Sick him, Hondo. There we go. So here's the idea that I thought about. What if we know that the mountain of Lycanios is it's actually a special mountain in mythology, sacred to Zeus, right? And in fact, the monument is right there. I think what we could do as an idea is at some point during the battle, the monument gets destroyed by Stardust. And at this point, one of the guardians of the realm shows up and wants to know what the heck is going on. Stops the whole battle. And once he sees what's going on, he'll basically he's going to take Prometheus' side. But the poetic justice of it all is he'll ban him from Arcadia for not having any status there. Basically being an outlaw. All right, I don't know if I got the feet right, but we got the shoes are like right up here. All right, let's see what it looks like. How about that? Now, I've got a little bit of a problem here, which is Here's the problem. There's some kind of folds in the clothing because he's laying down, and then I haven't done the stripes on the pants yet. On the one hand, it would be funny to put everybody in shadow, but I think that would just nuke the our clarity on this image. So I think we'll just drop that for another time. Okay. So I'm thinking about it this whole time, and I'm thinking, yeah, we get it. We exile somehow at the end of this. We exile um, Stardust through some other ally to the far realms, to the distant far realms, from which he cannot soon return. Right? That's why we'll even call it that. And because I have a whole story with Stardust meeting Azathoth, which I think will be really cool. And Azathoth being this sort of Cthulhian beast at the heart of the universe. Planet-sized creature god. Oh, what's going on here? Let's. Man, we're right there. We can add a little bit more texture. And there's plenty of things to clean up. I think we'll be cleaning this up for a while, actually. Let's go ahead and add that dialogue, and so we can call this a done deal. Here we go. Sick 'em, Hondo. Here we go. Does that stack? It does stack. Okay, so we got to just do a 6. There we go. All right, let's do it in bubbles. I do have one last thing to do after this, but I'm getting to the end of the video, so this will get posted, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do also. Oh, Sikkim Hondo. This goes up here. We're missing the monster saying Grar. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Make it this way. No. I want to do some of that, the magic energy that we saw a second ago. Let's do like a little push of the keyboard. What? No, not wig. What? Let's make that one 12. A bit smaller, kind of put it up here. There we go. Bubbles, technical pen. That wasn't so hard, was it? Not talking so tough, are you now? Stardust. All right. We'll even use this overinflated balloon for it. What? No, I should probably make it a little bit smaller. All right. We can do that. Warp. All right. There's more that we can do. For example, anyways, please like, follow, and subscribe. I will continue working on this. You should see it posted soon. This will get posted to Instagram today. Just putting together some texture. I'm cleaning up the mess. All right. Talk to you later.